Hello viewers. In recent time, 2 or 3 people have approached me to make a video on SQL for beginners. I'm creating this video not to teach you A to Z of SQL, but to guide you and also show you an easy way to go about learning SQL. So this video, I'm going to take up a mini project, solve the problems stated on that project, and it's going to cover all the basics of SQL. In the future, I'm going to create series of videos on SQL up to the advanced level. So this one will serve as a starting point. For you not to miss any of these videos, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you'll be duly notified whenever I release video. Without further ado, let's get started. The mini project will cover all these topics. If you're able to understand all these topics, then you are good to go as a beginner. So these are the areas that project will cover. So creating tables. Objective is to learn how to create, update and delete data and tables. SQL basics. Objective is to learn to retrieve data from the database using clauses like select, from and where. Sorting, filtering and limiting results. Objective is to learn how to refine query results using clauses like order by, limit, stop, fetch, first, and between, in and like, aggregate functions and grouping. The objective is to do calculations across rows, relationships and joins. Objective is to work with multiple related tables. In fact, most problems you are going to solve on SQL requires you to join tables, create relationships, and so on and so forth. While views, most of the times you need to have a virtual table based on SQL queries. So once you create such, it will be easier for you to pick up a query, refine it, and get what you want. Stored procedure, pre-compiled SQL blocks for reuse. If you want to reuse a query, you need to create a stored procedure. So these are the areas that mini project will cover. This is a mini project, an industry case scenario. Let's say you have been hired to manage the data for a small bookstore. You need to create and query a data that tracks books, authors, orders, and customer purchases. Your manager calls you that he wants you to give him information about all books and their prices. Get all customers who bought books by authors from the UK. Show the total number of books per genre. Find books that cost more than $14. List customers and the titles of the books they purchased. List all books along with their authors and genre. Find customers who ordered books costing more than $12. Find the top 3 best-selling books by quantity. Get the total revenue per genre. Find average price per author. Update the price of all books by Stephen King by 10%. Like I said, if you're able to solve all this, it will cover all the basics. So let's go ahead to solve the problems. So I go to my SQL Server Management Studio. The first thing I need to do is to create a database. So I click New Query, say Create Database. What's the name of the database? Say Bookstore. I execute it. As you can see, it has created it successfully. If you check here, what I created is not here. You can select it manually like this, or you can use a command that says use bookstore. Then you execute. Now we have the bookstore here. Like I said, you can also use this drop down to select it or use a query. Anything we are going to do now will be done in this database bookstore. So we have bookstore here. So let's go ahead and solve the problems. The first thing we need to do is to create tables. So we're going to create these tables: authors, books, customers, orders, and other details. Because of our time, I'm not going to be typing them one after the other. I've already created them somewhere, so I'm going to copy them and paste to save time. But the process is very easy and straightforward. This is the syntax for creating authors table. So I say create table authors bracket author underscore ID, which will serve as my primary key, and it's an integer. That's the data type is integer. We have the name, that's another column. The data type is varchar. This is the range. Then we have another column called country. The data type is varchar. We have different types of data type. I urge you to go and study them. Now, these are the data I'm going to insert on the table after creation. So it's straightforward. You say insert into authors values. These are the values. Let me first of all create the table, the authors table. Click execute. Created successfully. Let me insert the information I want. I click execute. 8 rows affected successfully. I go ahead to see what are in the table. Select star from authors. I have to highlight it. I click execute. As you can see, these are the information I have. Like I stated here, the columns should be author ID, name, and country. Let me go ahead and create books table. This is the query to create the table. Just like what we had in authors table, the book ID will be the primary key, while author ID will be the foreign key. Let me explain this because relationships are very important in SQL. What do I mean by primary key? Primary key will make this particular column to be unique. I will not have duplicate rows. Foreign key is a column, or it can also be group of columns in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. What do I have here as my foreign key? Author underscore ID. Author underscore ID is a primary key to this table, authors. It's linking the two tables. That's what foreign key does. It creates relationship between two tables. All right, let me go ahead to create the table. Done. Let me insert the data I want in that table. 8 rows affected. So let me see what I have in that table. I say select star from books. As you can see, these are the information I have there. So I'll pause this video and create other tables. I don't want this video to be so long. I've created the remaining 3 tables. This is customer table. Let me run the select statement to see what I have in the customer table. As you can see, this is what I have in the customer table. The process is the same. I've explained how to create table and insert data in that table. Like as you can see from here, it's just the same with the ones I created earlier on. All right, let me run the orders table and see what I have in orders table. These are the information I have in orders table. Let me run that of other details table I created. So I have all the 5 tables created. Now if I go over to bookstore, click on tables, I will see my 5 tables: authors, books, customers, other details, and others. Now let's start solving the problems that made us to create these tables. Like I said, if you are the one hired in that bookstore and your manager wants you to get all this information for him or her, the first question says select all books and their prices. Like this question, the information I need, they're all in the same table. I don't need to do any join. If I do select statement on books table, you see that all the information I need are here. These are the books. Their prices are here. So I go ahead and execute the query. It will give me the results I want. As you can see, these are the information I need. The second question says, get all customers who bought books by authors from the UK. Now, if I select this customer table, what I have here is customers. I don't have the names of authors here. I don't have the information about where the authors came from. This now necessitated me to do a joint query. I have to join tables to be able to solve this problem. I say select distinct. I want distinct names in case if there is a duplicate. See names from customers. From this customer table. Join others. If I run others table, okay, let me run all of them. This customer table, these authors, as you can see, these their locations. These are their books. So this is the book table. This is the other table, and this is the other details table. I say select distinct c.name from customers. Join others. This others table. What is linking the others table to customer table for this join to take place? Customer ID. So if I go to customer table, this is the customer ID as primary key. If I go to others table, this is the customer ID as the foreign key. These two information here are linking the two tables. Customer ID under customer c.customer ID. Others table, this o.customer ID. This is the others table. These two columns made this linking or joining possible. One comes as a primary key, the other comes as a foreign key. Now, from others table, other ID, what links others and others table? These two information here. Then books, the same thing. One will always be the primary key, the other will be the foreign key. So these are the two columns that link the tables together, the table you are joining together. So where filters where the author should come from. From the question here, it says the authors must come from UK. If I run this query, John Smith and Tunde Ade, the two customers who bought books by authors from UK. Alright, the next question says, show the total number of books by January. I ask myself, what I need, are they from the same table? They are from the same table, so I don't need to join tables. So select January count. Count is the number of books. Count star, that's, I'm not limiting it. As alias, total underscore books. So the column will bear this name, total underscore books. Group by January. So I run this statement. So fiction, I have 4 books. The rest are 1. Okay, so that takes care of that question. I'm able to solve that problem. Find books that cost more than $14. So if I go to books, I will see the prices of the books. The ones that are more than $14, I pick it up. Here, I have to use where statement to be able to filter the results. As you can see, the books here, they're all above $14. Alright, let's move on. List customers and the title of books they purchase. If I run customer table, I will not see title of books. Let me run customer table. The only information valuable is the names of the customers. So it means that I need to join tables to be able to get the actual results needed in that question. The price of the books are not in that customer table for me to answer the questions. Like I said earlier on, you need to understand how joins work. Select, these are the columns you need. When it got to here, it says as alias, and that column The name you'll be having there is book underscore title. From customers, so you have to join these tables to customer table to be able to fetch all the information you need. What is the columns linking the two? Customer ID as primary key in customer table and customer ID as foreign key in others table. That's what is linking the two. Like I said earlier on, use the foreign key to link tables. Likewise, this other table you are joining, what is the linking columns? These are the linking columns. Likewise, books, these are the linking columns. Alright, so let me run this query. These are the list of customers and the book they purchase. That answers the question. Let's go to the next question. It says list all books along with their author and genre. If I go to books table, I will not get all the information I need. So what do? I have to join it with authors table for me to answer this question. So if I run this is the result. This is the books. These are the authors and these are the genres. Now the next question says find customers who ordered books costing more than $12. The only thing you need here is these customers. So that's why we have select from customer table the names. From customer table, what are you joining? Others. Others will help you to know the cost of the book, other details, and the books. So you'll be able to know the books and their ID. Use this where clause to filter the customers that ordered books that cost more than $12. So that's why you use this filter statement here. So if I run this, these are the customers. Only one column we put here. We don't need any other information unless where it is stated that you need those customers, the books, and the price. That's where you will now add more columns here. Alright, that solves this problem. The next question says find the top 3 best selling books by quantity. From the look of things here, you know that the information we need, we will not get it in one table. So we have to do join. So what are the information we need? Select top 3. Because I'm using SQL Server, this top 3 has to be here. If I'm using my SQL, I don't need to put top 3. I will put limits. The information I need is the book title. Under other books, I have to get the sum of the quantity of the books as totals underscore sold. So 2 information I need here, the title of the book and the amount, so that I'll be able to get the 3 best selling books. I have to join this. This is the columns that join the 2 from other details and from the book. Now group by title, order by, I have to do the sorting in descending order. So if I run this statement, I'll be able to get the information I need. So these are the best selling books by quantity. Now the next question says get the total revenue per genre. So it still needs join, where we are picking the information from other tables. So these are the columns we need. Genre, the total number of based on quantity times the price as total revenue. What are we joining with? Books, group by genre. So if I run this, I'll be able to get the 2 columns I need. These are the 2 columns I need. You can go ahead to sort them in the order you want. I can say order by total underscore revenue, descending order. So if I rerun this, the highest comes first and followed by that order. So it depends on what you want. So let's go to the next question. Find the average price per author. We cannot get all the information we want from one table, so we have to do joining. We have to join books and author tables. Find the average price per author. So let me run this. So this is average price per author. You can sort it in ascending or descending order as case may be. Alright, the next one and the last one says update the price of all books by Stephen King by 10%. So Stephen King's books, update them by 10%. First of all, we need to know the price of Stephen King's books. Let's check the author's table. Select statement. Number 5, Stephen King wrote The Shining. The price is 13.75. So this is a query to update the price of all books by Stephen King by 10%. So if I run this query, one row affected. So if I go back, you see that the price of the book called The Shining has changed from 13.75 to $15.13. So I've updated Stephen King's book. We are able to answer all the questions. Those questions address all the bases, SQL bases. So if you're able to solve that question, it shows that you have known all the bases. Like I said, go back and study joins. Joins are very important to answer questions in SQL. That's it for this video. So if this video is helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever a new video is released. And don't forget to share my videos for others to benefit as well. Thank you for watching.